guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. Welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Today's video is going to be the mid-year Freakout book tag or mid-year reading tag. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I have been seeing this video going around and I really wanted to do it. So I am going to be doing this video today and I hope you guys enjoy. Before we get started, I do want to give you full transparency as to why I've been gone. I have been recently diagnosed with ADHD and I've been switching out some medications and having some adverse reactions, like physically and mentally. So I haven't been feeling the best, but I really know that I wanted to do this video, so I figured that when I'm feeling decent, as I am right now, that I would film this for you guys so you guys don't have to like think I disappeared off the planet and forgot about all of you. But I'm here and I'm super excited to do this video, so let's get right into it. So I have the questions pulled up on my phone, which if I am looking down, that's why. I just want to make sure I get the correct words for the questions. So question number 1 is best book you've read so far this year. And I have a couple. I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, I have like too many favorites. I've read a lot of books, but I haven't read a lot of like physical books because I've been reading a lot of digital books. But the ones I have here today for the most part are my physical copies, because if I really love the book, it'll end up in my physical library. But I do have 2 that really stuck out for me, and the first one is one that I read digitally and then bought, and it's The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. I know this is old news. I think this book came out several years ago. Let's take a look here. In 2020, so 3 years ago, but I read this at the beginning of this year and I absolutely fell in love with this book. I fell in love with the story, the full like meaning behind it, and the twist at the end, and everything about this book. I love this book. I would think that this is considered like urban fantasy, and I think, and this is me speaking out, I'm not like a huge fantasy reader. I'm trying to get into fantasy. I read a lot of fantasy in high school, but in general, like I didn't actually realize that this was fantasy until after, as how it was defined. So I believe this would be considered urban fantasy, but I absolutely loved this book and I do recommend that you read this if you haven't. I know there's a lot of people who like have mixed emotions on this book, but I absolutely loved it. My other favorite read of the year by far is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This has been a literally like an entire life-changing trilogy. I know that sounds so silly because it's like a thriller mystery, but I absolutely love this. I'm a huge true crime nerd. I watch every documentary, every episode of 2020. I literally love true crime. So when I heard about these books and everybody raving about them, of course I picked them up and I fell in love with Pip and all of her adventures, and I couldn't be more obsessed with this world. And speaking of, Holly Jackson just today on Instagram announced that she has a special edition coming to Waterstone, so you best believe I'm going to be picking that up. But I'm super, super in love with this story and these characters, and I could not get enough. Question 2 is best sequel that I've read this year. So back to my first one, I thought this would be a good segue, but this entire trilogy. So Good Girl's Guide to Murder obviously is the first one. Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. 3 of my favorite books I've read so far this year. Each one got 5 stars. It's a 5-star series for me. This book has an amazing floppiness to it, so that makes me extra happy. But yeah, this whole trilogy, these 2 sequels to that book, top tier. Top tier for me. Absolutely love. So question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet but want to. I have 3 books for this. The first one is one that everybody is talking about. It has like the highest ever recorded rating of a book or something ridiculous. Fourth Wing. Now, I just mentioned I'm not a big fantasy reader, but everybody talking about this made me really want to get into it. And of course, this book is just beautiful. Everything about it. I've already pre-ordered the next one because I know that I'm going to be obsessed. The sprayed edges, everything about this book, and the map inside, like, oh my lord, I am obsessed. So cannot wait to read this one, and this is definitely a must read by the end of the year for me. Another one, Happy Place. This is another one that everyone's talking about. I just have to mentally prepare myself because I've seen so many people cry over this book, and so that frightens me. I've never actually read a book that's made me cry. Like, well, actually, that's not true. There's one later on for a question that's like made me tear up, made me feel emotional. But I've seen people sobbing over this book, and I don't know if I'm mentally prepared. But everybody loves Emily Henry. I've read Book Lovers. You can see it's behind me. I liked it. I did give it a high rating. However, it wasn't like super memorable for me. So I would like to give Emily Henry a second chance. And of course, this book is like the most perfect summer looking book. So excited about that one. And the last one is one that not many people have talked about, but it's been on my radar, and it's Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. And this book is a murder mystery, not even mystery. I don't know if you would say it's a mystery because you kind of know what happens because he's describing everything. But I have like been like literally this cover, everything about this book like drew me in from day one. When I first saw it on the shelves at the bookstore, nobody was talking about it. I didn't know anything about it, but now I've seen a couple of videos about it, but I feel like I know that I'm gonna love this book, and this is a very much anticipated read for me. Question 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of 2022. Now, I have a lot of books that I am looking forward to. So the first one would be the second Maple Hills books. I believe this is what the series has ended up being called. I'm not exactly sure. But the follow-up book by Hannah Grace to Icebreaker, really looking forward to that book for sure. Oh, obviously Fourth Wings, Fourth Wings, I think it's called Iron Flame. Very excited about that release. Yeah, so I would say that for sure the next book to the Fourth Wing series, I will be very excited to read that so that I can read both of those, and I can't believe that one's already coming out like this year. And I also think Allie Hazelwood's young adult debut about the chess enemies, I think it's called Checkmate. Looking forward to that one a lot as well. I have quite a few on my radar, but I can't think of like all of them off the top of my head, but I know that there are definitely some books that I'm looking forward to reading coming up in the next few months. So very excited about that. Okay, next question is number 5, the biggest disappointment. Okay, so I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't have the book with me. I lent it out to like my best friend because I know that it's a very popular book, and she's not like a huge reader, but she just had a baby and she wanted something to keep her time, you know, when she has to, you know, be awake in those late hours and all of that jazz. So I gave her Daisy Jones and the Six. I know. Okay, hear me out. It was very interesting and well written, and I liked the style of the interviewing, like very quick read aspect of it, but it didn't grip me like it did for so many other people. And so I went into that book thinking this is by far going to be a 5-star read. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And I was pretty let down. I think I didn't really connect well to the characters. I felt like they could be any character, any band in the 1960s, 1970s. Like it didn't feel special or specific to that group. And so I think that's kind of why it let me down a bit. And then the other one is one that I actually listened to through audio, but I was really excited about, and it's The Last Heir to the Blackwood Library by Hester Fox. I was really excited about the concept of this, a magical library bringing, you know, so much like turmoil into a situation, and like what is this library meant to do? Why is it the way it is? Where is the magic coming from? And I don't think I've ever given a book such a low rating because it irritated me. The main character irritated me so much. I couldn't get through the novel without like verbally, as I was listening to it, I literally was like interjecting and like getting so aggravated with the female main character. No, that book was not for me. I am very sorry. If you loved it, I absolutely detested it. Okay, biggest surprise. I have 2. The first one is one that no one has been talking about, and it's so annoying, but I absolutely loved it, and it's One of Us is Dead by Jeneva Rose. This is a novel that I think it came out last year. Let me just double check on that one. No, it said it came out in 2022, but it was published in 2023. So it is semi-recent, most recent Jeneva Rose book besides You Shouldn't Have Come Here. And this one was so good. It's told by several different perspectives. It was such a quick read. I did not want to put it down. I got through this book so fast. It was so good. So, it just drew me in right away. And it was fun to like figure out the mystery and take your own guesses as you went along. I really enjoyed it. So this one was definitely a big surprise. And another one is one I mentioned in a recent video that no one talks about, this author, and it's Sarah Reddy's French Holiday. I loved this book. I giggled like a little girl. I felt so connected to the characters. I was so drawn into the story. Like, this book was such a surprise for me. I got it through a digital copy, and then I had to purchase it because it just drew me in that much. I could not put it down. I wanted to read it. I want to read more from her. Like, I was so in love with Mary, and I think it was Noah. I was so in love with Mary and Noah and their connection and their story and their depth to their characters. Everything about it, I love. New favorite author, so Sarah Reddy for sure, and then Holly Jackson. I need her to come out with more books, like now. I need more books from her. I know she wrote 5 Survive. I've heard semi-decent reviews. I have a copy of it in my Kindle, but I need more physical books coming out like every day. I love her. Love her. Newest fictional crush. Sorry, can't talk. Anna Grace knows how to create some fictional men, let me tell you. I loved Nate Hawkins. I love him so much. I have never fallen in love with a book boyfriend. I read so many amazing, very highly rated romance novels this year, but this is the only book boyfriend that stood out to me. Granted, this book is long. Okay, this book is over 400 pages, but I love Nate Hawkins. I wish he was real. I need Nate Hawkins. Love him. Absolutely love him. Newest favorite character. Now, this is also a book I absolutely loved. It was a YA book that everybody was talking about, and so I was like, okay, finally, I'll read it. It was such a quick read. I read it in like a day, but it's by this author, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Loved this book, loved it, but I love Liz. I love Liz. I wish I was Liz. I wish I had her personality. I loved everything about her. I loved her tenacity. I loved her strength. I loved her vulnerability, but also her wit. Like, everything about her, 100%. I cannot wait. I believe she wrote like a follow-up book to this one that's coming out soon. So that's another one for anticipated release. Any book by Lynn Painter. Love Lynn Painter. She is an auto-buy author for me. Liz. Oh, and of course Pip. Of course Pip. So those two, yep, those are my favorite. Okay, a book that made me cry. Now, did I sob? No, I did not sob. However, I did listen to this on audio and then decided I needed to have a physical copy. And not only that, I needed to make sure that other people felt my pain. The Measure by Nikki Erlick. Loved this book. The story, the meaning, the what is a life worth question that just hovers throughout this entire book. Oh my god. I loved this book. And honestly, when I first rated this book, I gave it 4 stars, but I can tell you, I have not stopped thinking about this book. I think about this book almost every single day, and it left me with so much realization and eye-opening abilities. I honestly don't know, but there's some kind of magic in this book, and I need Nikki Erlick to come out with more books because she has not come up with anything since this book. This book came out in, let's review here real quick. This book came out in 2022, so it's not that old. Granted, it's not that old. Get on it, please. Okay, so I know we're revisiting. A book that made me happy is question number 11. Better Than the Movies. Such a delightful read, so uplifting, loved everything about it. I immediately ran to Lynn Painter's Instagram. She has a prom specific like different point of view chapter. Read that, ate it up. Like, everything about this book I loved. I fell in love with this book so fast. It is so good. If you haven't read this, I know it is YA. Some of you guys might be like, no, not for me. This will be for you. I can guarantee that this story will melt your heart. It is so good. Question number 12, favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen so far this year? I can't, I don't think I've read a book that has been adapted into a movie. I know that this is coming out. Does this count? They just cast the cast for this. So does this count? If not, does Little Mermaid count? Okay, that's all I gotta say. Number 13, favorite post you've written this year. I don't really know how to answer this because yes, I do have a Bookstagram, which I do post a lot on there. All of my book reviews are on Bookstagram, or on my Instagram, if you are curious. But and I post on there much more regularly. But I don't think I have like a favorite post that I've done. The only thing I could think is like, oh, this one got a lot of attention because a lot of people weren't talking about it. But Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, that's probably my favorite post to write because honestly, that book got me. The found family, the mystery, the characters in that book, absolutely love. So if that counts as a post, I would say that one. But if not, I would probably say like any book haul. I love posting book hauls, except for now I'm on a book buying ban, which have I been sticking to it? Not completely, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not nearly as bad as it was, if we're being honest. Okay, most beautiful book I've bought this year. Wow, that's a lot of B's. I have two, but they're part of the same set. I haven't read these yet, but Magnolia Parks. Wow, could these books be any more gorgeous? I know that she's republishing them with a new publishing house with a more mature, book cover, but I wouldn't say that it's really that. It's just people's feet in nice fancy shoes. But I think that these books are stunning. So I made sure to order all of the ones I could that were still in existence. However, this one's a soft cover and this one is not, which kind of bothers me. So I don't know if the other ones are going to be a soft or a regular paperback, but I prefer soft covers. I know that's like such a weird thing. But these books, like, look at how beautiful those are. Like, I've never seen more beautiful covers in my life. Love them. Absolutely love them. Okay, and our last question. What books do I really need to read by the end of this year? There's so many books, you guys. I have my summer TBR over there, and we're going to be coming up pretty soon with our July TBR because I want to do monthly specific along with seasonal specific books. So look out for that. But I have so many books, but here's some that off the top of my head I was like, I definitely need to read. If I do not read ACOTAR in the next month, my best friend will kill me because she wants me to read this series so bad. She bought me this book for Christmas, and I'm so intimidated by fantasy books because I feel like they're so hard to digest, and world building for me is so hard to conceptualize because I'm not a visual person. Like, I can't visualize things in my head, so words to me are words. At least I think I can't visualize things unless I can like reference it to something I've seen. But she says that this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling at the beginning, and Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie of all time. So I know everybody loves this, but I have to get to this or she will literally like come and kill me in my sleep, I swear. Also, Finley Donovan is killing it. I don't know if you realize, I love cozy murder mysteries. I love murder mysteries. I like thrillers, but murder mysteries are where it's at for me. This is one that everybody loves, and I have the first and the second one. I think I got the second one used. I am waiting. I got this one used too. I buy my books used most of the time. Yeah, everybody raves about this, so I just know I'm gonna love it, and I'm sure she's coming out with more books. So that one's another one. Okay. I'm currently reading The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, and I'm probably gonna end up reading that whole trilogy before I get to this. but everybody loves this. And everybody loves Yours Truly, but I need to read this one before I can read Yours Truly. Even if they're only interconnected standalones, I have to read them in order. There's just no way. So I need to read this. Everybody loves this. And so far, her writing, delightful. Absolutely delightful. Okay. Okay. New auto-buy author for me. I have read now 2 books by this person. I almost own every single book that she's come out with, including a thriller. But Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Everybody says that this is like their favorite book ever, their favorite love story ever. It makes them cry. Now that I've read books by her, I understand. I'm currently reading a digital book called Grayson's Vow. It's coming out soon. I've seen some copies sprinkled here and there at Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. But I've been reading it on my Kindle and loving it. I read Stinger, loved it. I just know that everything she writes is gonna get me, because to me, her and Kennedy Ryan, oh, should have mentioned Kennedy Ryan as a new favorite author. Her and Kennedy Ryan, by far, they can deliver some romance. They can deliver some truly amazing romance novels. Last one is one that everybody and their mother have talked about, Love in Other Words. I've read a couple of Christina Lauren books at this point. I want to read all of their books because I love their writing, but Love in Other Words is the one that like everyone talks about, that everybody loves. So I need to read this. I needed to read this like yesterday, and I need to get to it as soon as possible. I just know that I'm gonna love it. I'm also afraid of crying, as you know. Let me tell you, I've been a very emotional person lately with going through all these medicine changes, and I just know I'll cry at any opportunity. So I'm sure I'll cry during this. I'm sure I'll cry during Archer's Voice, and I'm terrified. I don't like crying. I'm not a fan. But yeah. Okay, so that is my entire tag video and answers to all my tag questions. If you guys have done this video, please link it down below. Share with me. Tell me some of your answers to the questions too, because I definitely want to know, and I read all your comments. So please provide me some digital comments and love, and share your love of books with me, because I have so many books, but honestly can always take more recommendations. Give me something that no one has heard about, or people don't talk about it enough. That's what I want to hear from you guys. But yeah, so I know this video was a little all over the place, and I apologize 100% for that. I know that I have been all over the place mentally and physically, so in this video, this hopefully will not come across as completely crazy, but this is just my mind right now. And the inside of my mind is just literally like sparklers up there, so I have to breathe. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I love you all so much too. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Put some more eye candy up on here. Maybe people will click on it. Is there a stain? Or is that just my eyes doing tricks? I can't tell. I think it's just my eyes.